Mulpanahaden al Nekutyatha. This lesson will also primarily be in English. One of the big challenges with teaching Galilean Aramaic is a matter of words. Out of all the surviving dialects, only Syriac really took the time to self-examine and come up with a full range of linguistic terminology. In Galilean, on the other hand, only a few terms survived, and many of which are from the later period. What makes it even more fun is that most serious linguistic studies of Aramaic have been written in languages other than Aramaic. As a result, for now, we're sticking with English. However, this may change as the lesson progresses, so shma. Menresha, from the beginning, Galilean, like other dialects, was written de la Nekutyatha, without vocalization. Instead, the letters aleph, waw, and yod were used to indicate where vowels would fall. Some dialects use these sparingly. This was called in Galilean chasir, or deficient spelling. Other dialects, especially Galilean, use these a lot. This was called in Galilean mle, or full spelling. You'll also hear this called plene, which is Latin for pretty much the same thing. Other writing conventions came to be, such as doubling yod or waw to indicate a consonantal y or w respectively. I call these yod kfila, or double yod, and waw kfila, or double waw, which is sort of like w, and in fact it's just like w. This way, when the letters stood on their own, the reader knew that they were vowels, and where they were doubled, they were consonants. Seems legit. Now, where doubling and full spelling were very useful, since there were only 3 letters that acted as vowels, and Aramaic dialects had between 5 and 12, maybe even more vowel qualities, the exact vowels still had to be memorized. At around the 7th century, many years after Jesus' time, we start seeing the development of Nekutyatha, vocalization markings. The form that is most popular by far is known as the Tiberian Vocalization system. Originally developed to vocalize Hebrew, it is sublinear, that is to say, mostly written below the letters, and was very exacting. 7 major vowels, 3 semivowels, and a schwa, which is an sound. Plus, there are multiple ways to express the same vowel quality using different notation for convenience sake. It's a bit of a mess, but at least it's a regular mess. Then there was the Babylonian vocalization system. Also developed for Hebrew, you're probably going to see a pattern here, it is superlinear, that is to say written mostly above the letters, and had fewer symbols than Tiberian. In its earliest form, 6 major vowels and a schwa. It didn't differentiate between the same vowels as Tiberian, although there was a lot of congruity between the two of them. However, the Babylonian tradition was simply pronounced differently. It was a different tool for a different job. Finally, and probably the most obscure Hebrew-Aramaic vocalization system there is the Palestinian vocalization system. Used in and around Jerusalem, in its earliest form it had merely 5 signs, and these 5 signs were used to represent 6 vowels. 5 major vowels, and 1 symbol was reused for schwa. However, this too died out and was wholly replaced by Tiberian, and that was the end of that. Tiberian reigned supreme. In teaching this class, it would then seem to be the smart thing to use Tiberian, right? Well, with our understanding of early Galilean Aramaic, Tiberian might not be the right tool for the job. Why? Because from what we can understand about Galilean vocalization, the Palestinian system is probably the best fit. This is the system that I believe is most suited for Galilean. Where there are a large number of reasons for this, I'll share with you my favorite. Both Tiberian and Babylonian have a number of symbols for expressing open vowels. In Tiberian, there are arguably 4, and in Babylonian there are 2, arguably 3. But I'm going to focus upon 2 that they share in common. These are generally called Pethach and Kamatz. Pethach means open. You probably remember Ephatha, or be open from the New Testament. That comes from the root Pethach. It is an open sound. You open your mouth like you're at the dentist and you say, ah. Its counterpart, Kamatz, means rounded. You open your mouth like Pethach, and then you round your lips. Aw. It's usually called A as in father. Aw. Tiberian and Babylonian both differentiate between these 2 vowel qualities. early Galilean did not. We have some scant Galilean texts vocalized in both Tiberian and Babylonian vowel systems, and the scribe couldn't seem to make up their mind as to where to use pthach or where to use kamatz. They were used interchangeably and very inconsistently, but almost always against the classical understanding of the rules. This is likely because Galilean only had one open ah vowel, and it fell somewhere between pthach and kamatz. A number of scholars have called these examples Palestino-Tiberian and Palestino-Babylonian vocalization, respectively. In essence, these vowel systems had to be shoehorned in order to represent Galilean pronunciation. The Palestinian vocalization system, on the other hand, better represents it. And in the next lesson, we're going to go over the Palestinian system and see how we can apply it to Galilean.